Are you an AMP token holder that's boarding for the moon? Here's a question. Have you ever heard of a phenomena known as a Tyler candle? That's a very specific kind of green candle that occurs in a price chart. It's called a Tyler candle because of the unique economic phenomena that lay possible with the AMP token. And in today's episode, yes, we are going to go into this very little detail. Welcome to Unusual Due Diligence. I am your host, Poseidon, God of the Sea. In today's fresh episode, we take a look at Tyler candles. We do that to explain why, despite the current price action, there is something rather unusual hidden inside the economics of the AMP token. The call out for this goes to the Reddit user called CryptoBub. The quote goes like this, quote, "The more that Flexa gets used, more AMP is bought on the open market. Market buys, constant buy pressure. I predict when this starts occurring, we'll witness godly green candles when the market buys occur. We can call those the Tyler candles," end quote. I like this idea so much that I decided to dedicate this entire episode to the idea. Let's pull this apart and really get into it. First, we need to ask, why is it the more the Flexa network gets used, the more AMP that gets bought on the open market? What's going on there? The answer is a simple plan of action, only this one takes you to the moon. First, as investors in the AMP platform, we do the first step, and that step involves buying the AMP token. Now, something that any crypto holder has heard of is the idea of staking. The trick to staking systems is that you want them to have an economic system. I say that as someone who has looked at the UNDD token and pondered how to give it some life. You see, it's not just enough to buy tokens and hold them. When you apply staking rewards as holders of that token or coin, you're participating in the economic marvel of that system. In flexanetwork's case is quite intriguing. You see, the staking rewards, who funds those? Staking rewards need to be paid out of somewhere. Unlike the banking system, the AMP token, and even the Anchor token, and also the UNDD token, these are all fixed capacities. That is, there is no magic printer that can create more of these tokens. So staking rewards cannot be paid by the token contracts themselves. Instead, those staking rewards need to be paid from somewhere else. In the case of the AMP token, the staking rewards are paid from usage of the system itself. So when a consumer makes use of Flexa network to make purchases, then what happens? Well, the Flexa network has a transaction fee that gets applied, and that is the magic sauce. What exactly is happening with that transaction fee? Well, in the design of the Flexa network, the transaction fee goes and buys more AMP in the open market. So to go back to what we started this video with, quote, "The more that Flexa gets used, more AMP is bought in the open market. Market buys, constant buy pressure. I predict when this starts happening, we'll witness godly green candles. When the market buys occur, we can call those Tyler candles," end quote. Here's the twist. It should be plausible for us to identify if the economic engine, the underlying concept, if it works. How do we do that? Well, we should look at the seasonality of the AMP token price. As a platform with operations principally in the United States, Flexa Network's AMP token should find more value during times of peak transactional activity. There's a catch to this. It's peak transactional activity of crypto sales, where people are using their crypto to pay for goods and services. And what's really fascinating about this as an investor is that as adoption increases, we should start to see seasonality trends. Meaning there will be times of year where market pressure pushes the price down, and then times when it starts to spike up pretty quickly. The key to all of this working is Flexa Network getting even more adoption of their platform. And at the same time, consumer behavior changes. According to this 2021 study, we're still very early in the cryptocurrency ownership stage. Like you, I hear news stories on a recurring basis of a new country or even business making it known that they are also in the early stages of adoption to accept some cryptocurrency for payment. What does all that mean? Well, to me, it means that once the adoption base grows even larger for the consumer retail market to spend cryptocurrency as often as they buy goods and services, it will reveal seasonality opportunities to buy the AMP token. The AMP token will become somewhat predictable in price as it becomes intertwined with a higher correlation to retail sales, assuming that a significant portion of those retail transactions, they're occurring on the Flexa network. Hence the name Flexa Network. When? Well, no one can answer that question with any certainty. Instead, this is a question about the future. What if you had an opportunity to get on the ground floor of Visa or MasterCard and could get a tiny percentage of every transaction from every card swipe ever done? Now, what's that worth to you? For me, it's intriguing enough to be a pretty large block of my portfolio. Those Tyler candles, they don't seem hypothetical to me. While the date all this speculation materializes is quite unknown, I do know this. This is Unusual Due Diligence. I am your host, Poseidon. In today's fresh episode, I explain the probable seasonality and correlation that the amptoken will have to retail consumer behavior, and how that relates to a predicted phenomena known as Tyler candles. Candles are great because they're little wicks of flame. And you know what else has a flame? A campfire. I have a special project coming soon. Dates on contents will be announced on Thursday. Lower expectations because all I'm going to promise is that it is a very unusual project. Until then, well, make waves, my friend.